Today about how to run a quick fan coil or cabinet unit heater selection. So if we're gonna pull up in WebTops again, and here's our screen page. We're gonna open the same job we had last time called test with the air handler in it. And then we've got, we're gonna click add equipment here. We're gonna click fan coils about halfway down the page. And the one we're gonna use today is called the Trane fan coil, the most common one that you're probably familiar with. Then we've got several different styles of air handlers. Now for performance reasons, it doesn't matter too much which style we've got, but it does for the dimensions and that kind of stuff. So if we're going to compare different styles, here's our styles that we have. The first is a vertical concealed, so that's behind the wall. Then we've got a vertical cabinet, which is what you might see out in a vestibule. You can put a slope top on that as well. Vertical recess, which inside the wall is recessed with a panel out in front. Then we've got a vertical wall hung cabinet. This one's not super common, but it is out there. Inverted vertical concealed, so just the other direction. And then we've got the vertical recessed inverted as well. From the horizontal side, well, we do have vertical high-rise fan coils. Those are a little less common for hotels, or sometimes they're in schools and that kind of thing. Horizontal concealed fan coils, so ducted up in the ceiling plenum. Horizontal cabinet, ducted or unducted, but hung in the exposed space. And then horizontal recessed, where you actually see the panel in the ceiling, but it might be ducted out the back. So those are the different kinds of fan coils. And we're going to select those from this WebTops program. So if we go back here, let's say we want a horizontal concealed one today. We're going to select our voltage and click next. Now it's going to give us this page, and there's two options here. One is an input view, so you can input each one of these individually, or you can launch a schedule view. So if you've got a schedule of fan coils from an Excel spreadsheet, you can run those here. We're going to come back to the schedule view because that's a very helpful tool, but today we're going to just stick with the input view. So the fan coils run from about 200 CFM to 1000 CFM. Anything over 1000 CFM, you probably want to be looking at a blower coil instead. It's a very similar selection program. You'll just find it in the Add Equipment tab, and it's a BCXD instead of a Trane fan coil. So we're going to put in 800 CFM. The red boxes are the ones that you have to fill out. The blue ones are what you need to fill out if you want to have dimensional drawings. We're going to say back duct collar inlet, so it's ducted out back. On the front, it's got a duct as well. The unit cabinet size, so we're going to let this run open, so it can pick from any one of these for 800 CFM. We'll know that for 800 CFM, a size 60, a nominal 600 CFM is probably a bit small. A size 120 might be oversized, but if you need a bigger delta T across the coil, a size 100 or 120 might be what you need. So let's let it run open for now. We're going to say without a piping package. You can select a piping package in this program if you want to, but there's more inputs for that. So we're just going to say without piping package right now. Disconnect, let's say there's a disconnect on it. Main coil type. So here I like to limit what we're doing. We've got 2-row cooling, 1-row preheat, or 2 and 2, or 3 and 1. Generally, I like to stick in the 3 rows of cooling and 1 row of preheat. If you have a lot of heating load and a lower cooling load, you might be in the 2 and 2 category, but for the most part, we're in the 3 and 1. There's also a possibility to do a 4-row cooling, and then you can add a reheat coil down here. So let's do that actually. Let's add 4 rows of cooling only, and then hot water reheat at 12 fins per inch. Acoustic level, we're going to select high here. That's going to allow the fan to run at the maximum speed. And then we come to our entering conditions. Let's say 8067 is okay. Let's say we got actually 42 degree water, because I like 42 degree water. It helps the pumps run a little bit more efficiently. Without electric heat, you can lock it in with the capacity, or you can lock it in with the cooling flow rate. Just for the sake of going quick, we'll throw in, let's see, 800 CFM, which is probably about 2 tons or 24 MBH. Now, if you're narrowing it down, we'll come back to that. But if we're narrowing it down, we may want to enter the cooling flow rate instead of the cooling capacity. Then we've got to enter the reheat coil. So let's say it's coming in at 45, which is probably a little bit cold for this. It's probably closer to 50, but that's okay. We'll say we have 140-degree water. And let's say we have a flow rate of 1 GPM. We're going to say we have water here. Then we want to fill out all of these blue boxes to make sure we get a valid dimensional drawing. So I'm going to say CSTI T-stat interface. So all that is a terminal strip. The controls can be put on by the control contractor, or you can get a third-party thermostat. There's a thermostat from Trane here. There's different options. So we're going to say T-stat interface because that simplifies my selection. Then we're going to say no zone sensor. So you could do, if you're running the coil wild, you could run it with a variable speed wall mount sensor. We're going to say no piping package. We've already selected that once, but just want to clarify that for the program. And we're going to leave the labor warranty and all that kind of stuff. You can see there's the only blue box left is the unit cabinet size, which the program will decide for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to click Find Results. It's going to think about it for a minute, and then it's going to spit out our information. So this will give you acoustics, it'll give you dimensions, it'll even give you a fan curve down here. And this is your selection. If you want to go back and tweak things from here, you can see that we're in a size 60. Okay, well that leaves our delta T on the cooling coil actually at 15 degrees. That's not bad. Probably because we're using water. It would change if we were using propylene glycol. But let's say we actually want a larger unit cabinet. So we're going to select a size 80. Oh, and it's giving us an error here. So it's just saying it can't calculate the pressure drop across the control valve because we haven't selected a control valve. So we're just going to say don't calculate it then. So we've locked in a size 80 now, and we're going to see how it changes. Cool. And if we allow it to run open again, let's see if we can get this table to generate here. And we can't. So we've locked in a lot of things. So if we wanted more options, what we could do is let's not specify the reheat coil type, and let's not specify the main coil type. Maybe we only need a 3-row coil. We're going to calculate again. And it looks like it is optimizing our selection here. Occasionally, it will give us an option to sort through a couple different selections. It doesn't look like with this particular unit we've got a lot of options, or at least it's going to limit it to one option for us, just for optimal sake. But we can change things in here to get a different selection. So there's your fan coil selection. Again, go to the Reports tab, print out as you need to, and you can get Revit files, you can get a PDF of the printout, you can get just the product report without all the drawings and that kind of stuff. That's pretty much everything you need for a fan coil. So you can do the same thing if you wanted to do just a cabinet unit heater. You could go down to here to cabinet heaters, and here's the force flow heater that's pretty popular. And we'll do a horizontal concealed force flow. So this is just a heating coil only. You know, select the voltage, all that kind of stuff. Then we can go over here and start editing all of that kind of stuff. It's almost the exact same unit, just with different inputs. There's no cooling coil in it. It's hot water only. So hope that was helpful. Enjoy.